Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever been talking to a girl, vibing, things are going great, she's laughing, she's engaged, and then out of nowhere she ends up with some other guy? Some guy who, honestly, you look at and think, him? Really? Over me? And the worst part is, you can't even figure out what he has that you don't. He's not smarter. He's not better looking. He's not funnier. He's just chosen. And you're left sitting there like, what am I missing? Here's the answer. And I'm warning you right now, this one's going to hit different. Because it's not about your looks. It's not about your money. It's not even about your confidence. At least not in the way people normally talk about it. It's about something much more specific. Something most guys are doing every single day without realizing it. Something that puts them permanently in the option category no matter how good they are on paper. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what it is. And more importantly, you're going to know how to change it. So stay with me. Because number 5 on this list alone is going to completely rewire how you approach every interaction from this point forward. Let's go. Number 1, you treat her potential more than her reality. This one is deep. Pay attention. You met a girl. She seemed amazing at first. Great energy, fun to talk to, had that vibe. And your brain immediately started building a version of her in your head. You started picturing what this could become, what she could be to you, what the future looks like. And here's where it goes wrong. You start treating that imaginary version of her, that potential, like it already exists. You start investing in the idea of her before she's actually shown you she deserves that investment. You're all in on someone who hasn't even shown up yet. Women feel this, not because they're cold or calculating, because they're perceptive. When a man is already emotionally attached before anything real has been built, she senses she has power she didn't earn. And power without effort doesn't create respect. It creates boredom. The man who gets chosen is the man who stays in the present. He sees her for what she actually shows him, not for what he hopes she could be. He's interested, yeah. But he's not gone, not yet. He lets the real her earn the real him. And that measured, grounded approach, that's what makes her want to earn it. Number 2, you're always available but never present. These two things sound the same. They are completely opposite. Available means you respond fast. You clear your schedule. You show up whenever she needs. You're always there. On paper, that sounds like a good guy. In reality, it reads as a man with no life of his own. Present means when you're there, you're actually there. You're focused. You're engaged. You're not distracted by the need to impress. You're not half listening, while secretly monitoring her vibe for signs that she likes you. You're just in the moment, fully. Here's the painful truth. You can be available every single day and still feel like a stranger to her, because she never gets the real you. She gets the performing you. The you that's calculating every move. The you that's there physically but mentally sprinting in 20 directions. The man who becomes the choice isn't the one who is always free. He's the one who, when he gives his time, it actually means something, because it comes from fullness, not desperation. She can tell the difference. They always can. Number 3, you apologize for taking up space. This is subtle, but it's everywhere once you see it. You suggest something and then immediately add, but we don't have to if you don't want to. You express an opinion and follow it with, I don't know, just my take. You make a joke and then explain it because you weren't sure she found it funny. You take up space and then immediately shrink back into it. That's not humility. That's a habit of making yourself smaller so nobody feels inconvenienced by your existence. And it comes from somewhere real. From years of being told not to be too much, not to be too loud, not to make people uncomfortable. Somewhere along the way you learned that being liked meant being agreeable. Being safe. Not taking up too much room, but here's what she sees. She sees a man who doesn't fully trust himself, a man who needs permission to exist in a space. And you cannot be the choice if you're constantly apologizing for being an option. Take up your space, fully. Say the thing without the disclaimer. Hold the opinion without the apology. Make the suggestion and let it stand. That kind of groundedness isn't arrogance, it's self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic. Number 4, your happiness has a source outside of you. This is the one guys never want to admit. When she replies fast, your day is good. When she's distant, your day falls apart. When she's warm, you feel confident. When she goes quiet, you start spiraling. Your internal weather is directly tied to her external behavior, and you've given her that control completely without realizing it. And here's the brutal reality. Women can feel when they're someone's emotional source, and it doesn't feel romantic. It feels like responsibility, like suddenly she has to manage not just her own feelings but yours too. And that's exhausting before anything even starts. The man who becomes the choice is emotionally self-sufficient, not closed off, not emotionally unavailable, just solid. His good day doesn't depend on her good mood. His confidence doesn't evaporate when she's distant. He has a baseline of okayness that exists regardless of what she does. And when she sees that, when she realizes that her approval isn't the thing keeping him together, she stops taking it for granted, because for the first time she has to wonder, does he actually like me, or is he just fine either way? And that question, that curiosity, that's the beginning of real attraction. Number 5. This is the one most guys completely miss. You show interest, but you don't show standards. Read that again. You let her know you like her. You make it clear you're interested. You're warm. You're engaged. You're genuinely into the interaction. That part is right. That part is good. But here's what's missing. She has no idea what you won't accept. She has no idea what your line is. She has never once seen you be selective about who gets your time and energy. And that is the difference between the option and the choice. See, when a woman knows that you like her but doesn't know if she clears your bar, she's curious. She's engaged. She's trying. But when she knows you like her and also suspects that you'd pretty much accept anyone who shows up, she relaxes in a way that kills attraction. Not because she's playing games, because the brain only values things that feel earned. You don't have to be cold. You don't have to be harsh. You just have to have a standard that's visible. Something as simple as walking away from a conversation that feels one-sided. Not laughing at something you didn't actually find funny. Saying, I'm not really into that, when she suggests something that genuinely doesn't interest you. Not changing your personality to match whatever energy she shows up with. Standards aren't about being difficult. They're about being real, and real is the most attractive thing a man can be. Number 6. You're competing in a game you created in your head. Let me tell you what's happening in a lot of guys' minds when they're talking to a girl they like. They're thinking about the other guys. They're wondering who else is texting her. They're trying to figure out how to stand out from some invisible competition that might not even exist. And that mental game, that competition energy, leaks into everything. It makes you try too hard. It makes you perform instead of connect. It makes you louder, funnier, more impressive than you actually need to be. And she feels that performative energy immediately. It doesn't feel confident. It feels like effort. And effort signals insecurity. The man who becomes the choice is not competing with anyone. Not because he's naive. Because he's focused on himself. His attention is on who he is and what he brings, not on what someone else might be doing. That's self-focus, that's not ego. That's direction. And direction is one of the most attractive things a man can have. Stop looking sideways. Stay in your own lane. The right woman will notice the man who is fully committed to his own path. Always. Number 7. You've outsourced your identity to who she thinks you are. This is the last one. And this is the one that ties everything together. Over time, without realizing it, you started shaping yourself around her perception. Not dramatically, just slowly. You started emphasizing the parts of yourself you thought she liked, and hiding the parts you weren't sure about. You started becoming the version of you that you imagined she wanted, instead of just being the version that actually exists. And here's what happens when you do that. You become a reflection instead of a person, a mirror of her expectations instead of an original. And here's what's wild about mirrors. They're useful, but nobody falls for a mirror. Nobody chooses a mirror. You look at it, you adjust yourself, and you walk away. The man who becomes the choice is an original. He has things about him that are specific and real and sometimes inconvenient. He has opinions she might disagree with. He has a life that doesn't revolve around her comfort. He is fully himself in a way that sometimes creates friction. And that friction, that realness, that's what she holds on to. That's what she thinks about at night. That's what makes her choose him. Be the original, not the mirror. Here's where we land. If you've been the option, not the choice, it's not because you're not enough. It's because somewhere along the way, you started acting like you weren't. You made yourself smaller, more available, more agreeable, more focused on her than on yourself. And all of those things came from a good place. From actually caring, from wanting it to work. But caring stops being attractive the second it becomes the whole story. The whole story needs to include you, your direction, your standard, your life that exists fully with or without her in it. The moment you return to that, the moment you stop outsourcing your value to her reaction, the dynamic shifts. It always shifts, because she can feel that energy. She can feel when a man is grounded in himself, and grounded men don't stay options for long. So, here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow. Right now, pick one thing from this list. One thing that you know is true about you. One habit you've been running on autopilot. And decide that starting today, you're changing it. Not for her, for you. Because that's the whole point. You don't become the choice by chasing her harder. You become the choice by choosing yourself first. Every single time. Now, if you want to understand what she's actually feeling, when she starts pulling back, because there's a whole layer to this that happens inside her psychology that most guys never see. Go watch the video on why she pulls away even when things are going great. It connects directly to everything we just talked about. And once you see both sides, the way you read every situation changes completely. Go watch it.